when I got clean in 91, May 20th, I got clean in October of that year because I hadn't dealt with the trauma or the abuse, none of that. We've taken the substance out, and this thing welled up inside of me where it felt like I needed to kill myself or I needed to hurt somebody. And I don't know what to do with it. Like, and in my mind, it has nothing to do with the sexual abuse because that's not an issue. I don't know what's going on. And I have this really good job, and I tell the supervisor that I'm going to leave. I'm quitting my job. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And at this point, I'm not sleeping well at night. I'm having racing thoughts. I might pull up to a stoplight and just bust out crying. Don't know enough about mental health issues. Never heard the word PTSD. So, and again, none of that would have been in my vision to understand that what's going on now. You know, today I know that you remove the drugs, the brain says, well, you need to process that stuff that you didn't take care of. So luckily, they sent me to a program, this supervisor, and I just realized this the last couple of years. They sent me to a program called New Horizon in Florida, Clearwater, Florida, and they're no longer down there. It sucks. Because I've tried to track them down to say, hey, I'm still here. But I went to this program. They flew me down. My first experience in the program, and it's residential. And truth be told, I only went because on the brochure, they have a yacht. And I was like, Florida? And I'd never been to Florida. So I'm like, I'm just going to go down there and be on this yacht and, you know, can't be any worse than Hagerstown. And I get there, and they say, when you sign yourself in, you can't sign yourself out. We have to get a judge to let you out. And I'm like, they tricked me. And they put me on the substance abuse unit. I had 6 months clean. And I'm on the substance abuse unit, and they're like, you need to accept your powerlessness. No problem. What do you mean, no problem? Oh, I'm an addict. I know I'm an addict. I've done my first step. In fact, I did my first step before I got here. And they're like, yeah, right. No, really. I'm in the fellowship. I have a sponsor. I have a home group. We do recover. We meet on Sundays at 7. I go to area service meetings. They're usually 5 hours long, but it's pretty cool because I'm doing recovery. And they're like, okay, this guy either knows, I'm assuming this is what they're thinking, either he knows all the right things to say or he really is in recovery. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what made them send me over to the sexual abuse unit because I never shared that. But I had told my supervisor here, which it really wasn't until like I want to say the last 3 years that it dawned on me that she probably told them. All this time I've been thinking, what made them put me on that unit? But I got over on the unit and they said, we think this is where you'll most fit to get your treatment. And I said, well, what is this unit? For people that have been sexually abused, well, I don't have an issue with that. Really irate, raising my voice. And again, I'm the quiet person that wants to be seen but not heard. And I'm just like going off because that's irrelevant. Being raped at age 7, so what? That was umpteen years ago. It's not an issue. And they said, well, will you just stay here for tonight, and then we'll talk about this in the morning. And I had a little bit of willingness because I was clean, so my brain was a little not as foggy as we say. And I got up in the morning, and for some reason I said, okay, I'll stay. Because I knew that they weren't going to let me out. They said, if you leave, you got to find a way home, and I didn't have any money. So I stayed, and they started talking about the sexual abuse, and I was like, damn, that's what it is. That's what it is. You're out of control because of the abuse that you haven't been able to work on. And it was a great treatment program. Psychotherapy, individual counseling, groups, meditation, 12-step meetings. I mean, they were doing trauma-informed care before it was called that. And I can't believe that program's not still, or maybe it's under a new name, but the fellowship saved my life and gave me some direction. They took care of the root. not, let me rephrase that, they tended to the root, because it was only 24 days, I believe. So while I was there, I had that awakening that, this stuff it really is affecting my behaviors, from the substance use to the out of control, everything else in my life. And I came home, and of course, then I had a label for myself. I'm the incest survivor, yada, 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 yada. And in the fellowship, they say, you are this. And we suggest that, just keep it at this. So as long as I was clean, I knew I could work through the rest of the stuff. I had no idea it was going to be lifelong, that this isn't something that there's no technique that's going to erase it.